start recording. I had the fabulous Joe Gifford on here, and I forgot to hit record, which is tragic.
That is tragic.
So, hello, welcome. I'm Jennifer Scott, and this is my weekly blab, and I have Shari Teigman, the one and only. We were supposed to get together last week, but of course I was a little sick, and that happens. So, welcome. Today on this blab, we are talking about creating a business that sparks and filled with soul. And actually, the thing that you gave me were like description in your bio and everything, it had so many good things in it that I was like, can I just copy and paste this whole part? But I couldn't, because you can only get like 80 words in the blab description.
Yeah, see, so, I'm not good. If you limit me with 80 words, that's why I don't like Twitter. It's just, I never have that little to say about anything.
So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Shari was one of the guest creators in my group, The Creation Corner, over on Facebook. Looks like there's a bit of a delay here, but hopefully you guys can hear us okay. We got a few people joining us and quite a few people scheduled, so they will be watching the replay. So Shari, hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be part of your magic, and I love what you're doing, and you know that I love you. So this is just good all around. It's a good way to spend a rainy Thursday here.
Yeah, we have a snowy Thursday here.
Oh, we don't have any snow yet, which is just strange because we usually do, but I'm just going with it.
Okay, so create a business that sparks and filled with soul. Now, like I said in your bio, you have lots more to fill in there. So let's start by filling in and letting us know, what is it exactly that you do? Ida's here too with her first day on Blab. Hi, Ida.
Welcome, Ida.
Yes. Okay.
What do? I do a bunch of things, as you know. And one of the reasons that I do a bunch of things is because it's really in line with what I believe and what I teach, is that if you are if that's what fuels your soul, don't neuter it because everyone says you're supposed to pick one thing and do it. So that's just my umbrella comment I like to make. I am a soul explorer, a transformational coach, and a spark maker. So I work with people in their life and in their business to create a life and business where they feel alive in it. They feel like they're lit up from the inside as opposed to searching from the outside, and that their own light shines brightly enough that it brings to them the kinds of things that they would like. So in their life, that means the fulfillment and success and the passion. Instead of chasing shiny objects and looking outside of yourself, finding that creativity within that refuels you like you were when you were a little kid, where you weren't searching outside of yourself. You didn't need constant approval or recognition or things like that keep us small and feeling not enough. But on the flip side, fuel from the inside so that your soul is what leads you. And I feel the same way in business, is that so many people, especially entrepreneurs, go out on the entrepreneurial road, not because it's the easy way to go. It's probably easier to go work for somebody. But for those of us passion-driven people, that's like death on a plate. But then they create their businesses and they start to shave off the sides of what they do to blend in and to sound like everyone else because they're concerned about making money, which making money is extremely important when you're in business. But if it doesn't come from a place that's truly your zone of genius or truly where your passion comes from, even if it makes money at the start, something's going to go awry and you're not going to know what's wrong. Clients aren't going to come to you. The money's not going to flow. You're going to feel like you're outgrowing it. And all those pieces are not the reason you started this in the first place. So I like to help my clients take a step back, take the structure down that they feel was built for them and rebuild it in a creative, passionate, uniquely them way that they can outgrow, their clients will be drawn to, and it's just a happy explosion all around. So,
wow, I'm already ready to sign up and talk about my biz. So, because it's so true, the authenticity is everything. And I mean, actually, I just heard another great coach talk about this on a different call, where when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to eat, breathe, sleep, think, everything your business. So it really needs to be something that you love, right?
Yeah. This isn't a 9 to 5 and you leave it and grump around. I mean, those of us who are really in this, it's 24 hours a day. You're at the supermarket and suddenly you go, oh, I have an inspiration. it's a beautiful love affair if you can be. You don't want to be fighting in your relationship with your business. It's just, you can easily get bored, put it that way.
Yes, definitely. So how do you, like, I think in theory it makes total sense what you do, right? But in actuality, how do you do this? Like, how do you, or how does a person, even that's listening to this or watching the replay, how do they begin to bring their soul into the business if they're sitting here and they're watching this and they're like, okay, that's me. I've focused too much on here because I thought this was going to make me money and I've lost myself. I don't even know where I am anymore. Where do you start?
I'm big on reverse engineering. So you have to pull the camera all the way back to come. Why did I start this? What are you passionate about? What is the value that drove you to start this little inkling of a dream? So for me, I crave connection. I crave creativity. I crave service. So I'm just as guilty of it. We all are. And I have to keep myself on task even more because, just as we know, when we're in our zone and coaching the people that we love to coach, many of the times we're talking to ourselves as well to remind us, because we're generally, I won't say generally, I know most of us are our own ideal client a while ago, which is why our passion comes so deeply, because we know what it feels like to be in that place where your clients are. So yeah. I bring them back to scrap what you have already. And sometimes they're afraid to do that. And it's like, okay, if you want to go back to this, that's fine. Let's just play. Curiosity and wonder. I talked a lot about that in your group last week, that's the way out of the fear and overwhelm. Because if you come at it from a cognitive, conscious place, only from your mind, you're going to be too afraid to try something. But if you can be creative, well, let's say I wasn't afraid to try. What would my dream business look like? Would it be one-on-one coaching, or do I want to be out on a stage and traveling? Do I want to run retreats and introduce people? Do I want to write programs and really put myself out there? Because visibility stops people. Financial investment stops people. So when you strip away all the things that stop you, what is the bigger vision of the dream? Why are you doing this? What do you want the impact to be? What's your influence? What's your legacy with this business? Then we work backwards. So for you happen to be incredible one-on-one, and you stayed one-on-one for a while, but it wasn't as fulfilling for you because you wanted to serve in a bigger way. So if I was talking to you about this 6 months ago, I would say, Jennifer, what's the way? And this is very hard for a lot of people. What's your one-to-many model? And those of us who are as passionate as we are, I don't have one because I give so much one-on-one. I can't possibly teach this on a global stance. Yeah. But you can if you realize what the common problems are for your clients. What are they craving? What's the framework for what you do that you can help them start to do it on their own? And the way I like to look at, let's say, a group program it's the starter work for getting to work with you one-on-one, because you're going to max out on time. You're going to max out on finances. You're going to end up being frustrated. So what are the even small pieces from your larger vision that you could start bringing back into your business that you realize you forgot?
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And I think too, that it's like anything that you do in life. For myself, I'm a creation coach. And so I help women create what they most desire in life. And when you go back to that, the common piece that you're talking about, that I'm talking about, is the desire.
Yes.
What do you want?
Yeah. And people say, well, that's fluffy. It doesn't work with my business plan. Well, you won't have a business plan if you don't want to be doing what it says on that paper anymore. So
exactly.
A plan and a strategy is extremely important. Systems and automation, of course. But it has to fuel from a place where you actually still want to be. So you have to check back in and make sure, am I where I want to be? So you could have called yourself something different 6 months ago, and it could have worked 6 months ago. And this is another thing, is it can be great for 6 months, a year, 5 years, whatever it is. But when you start to outgrow what you're doing, you have to have the fearlessness to say, I'm allowed to shift gears. I'm allowed to turn a corner. People are afraid of that, saying, well, my audience only knows me as this, or I don't know anyone who wouldn't find a tremendous amount of respect and integrity for someone who flat out says, hey, I'm morphing. I grew. We all want to do that. Who hides from that? And, I write a lot of copy for people. And a lot of what I do is go back to copy that was working and say, where are you in here? This isn't you anymore. And that kind of thing holds people back because they don't feel fully who they said they were. And then they don't want to show up. So they start, creeping to the back again. Well, I don't know. That full drive of passion isn't there anymore. And that's what's key. Keeping that at the forefront, no matter which way you're turning and changing. You may have said a year ago, well, creation coach is too broad for me. I don't feel like it represents what I'm doing. But you've done so much inner work and work with others over the past year that you understand that it now covers everything you do instead of having to pick one thing and slap a label on your forehead.
100%. And I think about even people, it's so funny that you say this. I think this example comes into my head too, is a lot of us solopreneurs out there and like women that are looking to create a life we love or manifest or grow. We know who Gabrielle Bernstein is. We know who she is. And she says she's a spiritual coach. I mean, she's doing things and helping spiritual people get businesses, and she's doing all of that. But she said that in the first 2 years of her business, like she couldn't even say the word God. And it wasn't because she didn't, whatever, like she was in touch with God or whatever, but she was so scared that she wouldn't connect with the people.
Yeah.
And now she's like, whatever, like God, like she says it, and so nothing's changed except everything within her, right?
That's it. And it's also, if you put on this persona and then you have to stay within it, even if you started off loving it, most of us have that rebel streak is we don't like being in boxes. So why are we putting ourselves in a box, allowing yourself the stretch and the range to understand this is my foundation and I will grow with what my clients need. I will grow with my own service to myself. And that will take that and change that. And so there are people who were great where they were. And as they change, have so much more to offer because they can only see where the next corner is. They can't see 10 steps down. But that doesn't mean they have to stay stuck in their business. That means they get to grow with what they learn. We all learn from our clients. We learn from what they're looking for. We learn from the transformations that we make with them. I mean, it's such a beautiful, cohesive experience to coach someone and grow with them.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes feel selfish. I get as much out of my clients as they get out of our program, but that makes me a stronger coach. It makes me clearer in what I do. It makes me clearer in what I want to bring to the world. So who am I to hold that back? Because I said 6 months ago, I was someone who I'm not anymore. Go me, I grew.
Yeah. Go me, I grew. Somebody grew.
Exactly.
Go me, I grew. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's definitely so true. And I mean, saying something so simple, like I say, for the especially for the solopreneurs who are going to be watching this one, the entrepreneurs who are going to be watching this one, is you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur by spirit.
Exactly.
Because you like the adventure of change, growth, discovery, newness. Like that's what that is, right? So I think what you're saying and teaching and helping others learn, women learn mostly, is what is that deeper entrepreneur, soulpreneur, soul, like not just individual, but soulpreneur wanting to come out and express, because you are going to get bored of it if you're not lit up by it.
100%. And the funny thing is it can be tiny shifts that get you back in alignment with what you're looking for. So I'll give you an example. Packages is a great thing. So I have a business intensive where I take someone's business and we literally take it completely apart, all the working parts out on the table, and we rebuild it. So I have a client, they'll come to me because of the program that they took or the coaching program they were in. They have a 6-week, they have a 3-month, I have to have an hour and a half. I said, do you like that? Oh, no, I can't stand it. Well, they told me I had to do webinars. Oh, I hate webinars. I can't. Why are you doing them? And they look at me, and it's not with judgment. I see it happen over and over again. I don't know. That's just because they told me what I had to do. I said, well, if you don't like it, and by the 3rd month into your program or 6th month, the stands or whatever, you're ready to blow your brains out, showing up for the call with your client. How's that serving your client? Oh, I feel like I'm not in my zone. Well, what would in your zone look like? I dream of like a 1 month intensive. And I say, well, why don't you do it? It literally like a child, like I'm allowed, like there's a jar of cookies. I'm allowed to do that. I'm like, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then that little shift of permission for themselves to all of a sudden, it's like the gooey center pours out and the ideas start flowing. And, well, I was going to do this. I didn't know I was allowed. I thought it wouldn't work. All of a sudden, there's a whole new business that just tumbled right out instantly. Jennifer, It happens over and over and over again because they're so locked up in the structure of what they were taught works. And I mean no disrespect because structure is wonderful. And for some people, templates do work. But if it isn't, that's when you have to take notice from over here and say, I'm not feeling this. It's not working for me. What is it? Is it the delivery? Is it the style? Is it my languaging? Am I, even the ones, there's some people who curse in their coaching. Some people feel like they're supposed to because that's the badass way of being a woman. We're in some of those kind of groups. Well, if it's not your thing, it's not going to work. And if it is your thing, there's nothing that's going to work better. You have to serve from your heart who you truly are. And you touched on something before. When you're trying to speak to everyone, you're not speaking to anybody. You're not really saying anything. Your message is neutral. Your delivery is vanilla. There's no one can grab onto the grit of what you do. So when you get brave enough to stand up and say, this is what I do, this is how I teach it, whether that means embracing your woo side or I'm a systems geek and I know it's not in line with what's out there, but I'm a systems geek and I can totally systemize this with you. When you find those qualities that people keep in the closet, like, oh, well, I use my Oracle cards, but I don't really tell my clients that that's how I do it. That's your gold. Use that. Those are the people who want it. If you hide it, then your people can't find you. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, it could be a systems thing. You're a numbers person. Don't hide that. People who need that will be like, oh, thank God. There's someone who has what I don't know. So really embracing what makes you different as opposed to what makes you the same is what's going to make your business stand apart.
Oh, so true. And you know what? Honestly, there's nobody out there that can't say this. If you look at anything, any successful business person you admire, actor, actress, performer, artist, anything that you really admire, what you're admiring is it's them that's there. It's the themness that's in it all. Right.
And the bravery and courage to be like, wow, they're really just them. They don't give a crap what anyone thinks. And that's a muscle to be built. It takes time. It takes time.
Good. Yeah, that's a good point. It does take time. So what for you and your journey, like, because so you're saying all of this, you're talking about what makes you unique. So you must know this from experience somehow. So was there a moment in your business where you were trying to fit your box or trying to fit your mold and then your you-ness came out?
Oh, completely. So I did a coaching program, which was a great coaching program, but I won't say it wasn't the right one for me because it was for this exact reason. It was a year and it was not the real Shari style. So I learned excellent techniques. I loved the meat of what I learned, but it was very fluffy, feminine, sisterhood, but it didn't feel authentic to me. And not because I'm sure it's great for other people. It wasn't the right fit for me for where I was. I'm a jaded New Yorker. So within that, I felt already out of alignment, but this is what I learned. So silly things. I had a photo shoot for the first time when I put my website up. Beautiful pictures. You looked at the pictures, it was like Stepford Wife again. And this was something that I had climbed out of in my own personal life through my own personal story. And I looked at these pictures and everyone's like, oh, it's so beautiful. It looks like you. And I said, oh no, I did it again. I climbed into that Stepford thing again. I'm hiding again. Beautiful clothes. My hair's all perfect. I'm like, that's not me. And it sounds so silly because what's the difference about the pictures? It mattered to me because then I couldn't fully be me because what I was representing and what you got on the phone were two very different things. So I was already off track and that made it hard for me to build my business. I still felt like every post was a push. Every representation was a push. And I'm thinking, why am I doing this? This is way too difficult. So I scrapped it. I had a friend take new pictures of me with a Thug Life t-shirt, with ice cream in my hand. My lipstick came off. I didn't even care. I can't tell you what a difference it's made in my business. And the reason that I'm using this as an example is because it wasn't this global foundational piece of my business that I was out of alignment in. No, it was a silly thing, like just how I was showing up. Yeah. I don't want to be perfect. So I had to teach myself that I could be brave enough to not care if I was perfect, to not care if every post was some were vulnerable, some are bold, some I sound silly, some I make fun of myself, some I'm empowering. And I think personally for me, and I teach this to my clients, your messaging has to be multidimensional. If you go to a party, you're not going to speak to the one person who repeats the same thing in a monotone to each person they speak to. That's boring, even if it was interesting once. But someone who can be soulful and connected to one person and snarky and funny to another person, have a long evolved conversation or just a quick joke. The range of you fully in your business is what brings people to you. Mm-hmm. So that was really, thank you. That was one of my moments where I was like, I teach this stuff and I'm still not fully being me. And it's totally normal. It's very scary, especially when things are new, to just go to what you know is comfortable.
Yeah. And I mean, I rely heavily on the Course in Miracles. I'm a ACIM student. And one of its greatest messages for me that sees me through time and time again is just the world is what you think it is. You know, the world is what you think it is. So when you have, or you're seeing something that is not in alignment with how you feel, right? There's a disconnect there. There's a disconnect there. And you want to create it and create this world that you love to live, in your business and outside. And I think that's exactly what you're expressing so beautifully.
Yeah. And what's funny is you say it and some people say, well, that's simplistic. That's not how businesses are built. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Because if you don't have that piece, you can build the most gorgeous structure on top of it. There's no foundation that you want to stay in. So if you build a great business and you want to climb out the back window, you have to go back to why you're leaving. What does it feel like? What is it serving you? Is it what you wanted to do? And if it isn't, then let's find out what it is, because you have the drive. Like you said, we have the entrepreneurial spirit. I would guarantee all of us, if someone asked, how long have you been doing this? Probably since I was talking. I did this when I was younger with my friends, with my kids. These are our personalities. We're always going to be one step outside of the box. We're always going to march outside the line. We're always going to give more than we have. So if that's our nature, make sure that we're in full service of our nature as well as our clients. I want to make sure I'm as fulfilled in my way so that I have the most to give. If I'm frustrated with technical stuff or tasks that I don't want to be bothered with, that webinar won't be great if I find webinars stressful. Then get on a call and that's the way to go. Or I'm not a writer, people say to me. I'm like, then don't write. Get on video and speak from your heart. You know, permission, giving yourself that permission is really not simplistic. It's the biggest gift you can give to your clients as well as your business.
And, you know, the thing is, too, and I want to say this out loud, I had the beautiful Megan Hale, which you know well, you introduced us. Yes. She is phenomenal. And because it's my Blabbing Bonanza Day. So this morning I had her on Blab. And one of the things that we really tapped into and said out loud was the importance of what do you want? Like, that is it. What do you want? But what I'm going to add to that after talking with you is I'm actually going to say that it's 2 sentences you need. What do you want and how does it feel?
Yes.
How does it feel?
And those are the 2 scariest questions for women who are building businesses, because we were taught when we were younger, we are not allowed to ask those questions. Many of us didn't even know the answers to that because it wasn't on the list of what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And so now we're at this time in the world, in our life. I mean, it obviously definitely more so in first world countries, of course, and is around like women can ask themselves that question. And people, you know, there's even some talk now where, you know, somebody might quickly say like, well, of course they can ask themselves that question. But it wasn't that long ago that we couldn't.
Yes.
Right. And there's an energy that comes through with that through the generations. So now we are saying, what do we want? Never mind the roles that we're needing to conform to.
Yes.
Never mind the role. Like, that's old now, right? And so for solopreneurs, women in business, it's one step further, right? What do we want?
And how do we own that? I don't want to whisper it and then not do it. And that's a lot of what I say. Well, this is what I want, but it has to look like that. Right there, that but is, wait. Let's stay on the line of what you were so lit up talking about. Let's use that as the fuel. Don't go into, but they told me I should do this, and it has to look like this. That's not going to work, even if it works on paper and in every marketing book. That's awesome. But it's not going to be what gets you where you want to go if it's not yours.
Yes, absolutely. It's not going to get you where you want to go if it's not yours.
We got the ladies are here. The Joy Patrol.
Joy Patrol Hi. In the house. Hey. That's so wonderful. So, so what now? Like, what now? So somebody's sitting here, they're watching us, they're resonating. The majority of the people on my blabs watch the replays. So, they're at home tonight, they're listening to this and they're thinking, oh, that's exactly what I need. I don't have enough me in my business. I don't have enough that in my business. Where do you start? Like, what do you do right now? You've watched this blab. I mean, obviously I want to hear all about how they could reach out to you, but like, do you get out a journal? Do you go meditate? Like, what's your piece that you would give them to just do immediately?
So a typical Shari answer is there's no specific answer, because for some people it will be take this and meditate on it. For some people, dance on a table, because that's how I meditate, as Jennifer knows. Go out for a walk, go to the gym, go for a run. Find where you get your highest, to use your language, get into your highest vibration. Where's that fastest spinning place that you get your ideas from? Strangely, they always download for me in my shower. I guess my guides like to be clean. What do I know? I have no idea. Put the fear aside. And to me, it's a real task. I light a candle. I say, fear, I know you're there to keep me safe and to keep me protected. When I need you, guard the door. Right now, we're going to play in here without you coming in to interrupt. You can stay, but you have to either stay outside the room or in the back seat. I didn't ask for your opinion. When I do, I'll give you an opportunity. And that automatically calms my fear down from screaming the loudest that it does in the room. Like, I see you. It's that child who's throwing a fit. Totally. I see you. I hear you. Not interested in what you have to say. When you can calmly raise your hand, then we can have a discussion. Then you get to work. These are the things you're looking for. Values. What are the driving values in my life that I want to bring into my business? Because to me, life and business is all the same thing. Right. What are my driving values? What are the values of my clients? And I don't like the word pain point, even as a copywriter. What are the values of my clients that they're struggling to reach? Where's the disconnect? Where's the bridge that I can build for my clients from what I know, my expertise, what I've done, to get them where they want to go with the least amount of pain for them? So write those two things down. And then I say, what's almost like my entrepreneurial personality? Yeah. Do I want to be very visible? Do I want to be a leader, or do I want to be a partner? And there's no judgment. There's some people who are wonderful at both. Some of them are terrible leaders, but they're wonderful partners, and vice versa, because I really feel like that sets the tone for what sort of business you're going to run. Because if you want to be a guru and a leader, then get up on that soapbox and do it. If you want to be in the trenches with your clients, drop down on the ground and climb in there. But being both spreads you very thin, and then you're not really being either. Right. So really see what are your personality strengths that go with the best sort of business owner you can be. Are you driven, or are you more contemplative? So work with your strengths. I don't believe in trying to push something that's not you. So be very conscious about What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? Because if you have weaknesses, there's support you can get outside of that to say, okay, well, I need a VA because I'm not techy. And when I hit tech, it makes me start doubting everything. And then I stay stuck and overwhelmed.
Yep.
Well, then it's the best $20 I spent on an hour to have someone take that off my
Yep.
plate. And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
So it's about finding your values, finding the pieces that you feel you can serve with, and then finding out what your best way of disseminating the information is. And then take a look at what your current business model looks like and see if it lines up. It may line up and there are just a couple of tweaks. It may be completely off and you want to start all over, which is scary, but also really refreshing. Mm-hmm. And you may say, hey, I was that, but I outgrew it and now I want to be more of this. Mm-hmm. And then start to build. Mm-hmm. From there. It's a fresh ground. You kind of clear the rubble from the floor.
It's amazing. And so much in alignment with, creating and it is creating. It is creating.
It's creating.
It is creating. It's creating the business that you desire. It's creating the business that you want from your heart, from your soul, and it's absolutely incredible.
And it feels so good. It's very scary to start, but you will see, and I can guarantee this. And if it didn't work, then call me and I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
It's the most freeing adventure to go on because you've been fighting this inside. If something's off, it's off in there. Yeah. But you're not admitting it to yourself. So once you flat out admit it, then all of a sudden the doors blow open and you can actually really dive in there. Instead of dipping a toe and not understanding why something's not working, admit what's going on and then you can move past it. Then you don't stay in the fear of, well, how do I say it's not working? Well, it's not working anyway. So say it and let's get you to the next step.
Let's move on. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So how can the viewers and the listeners and the people that are going to hear the replay, how can they get more of you? Where can they go to find you? And I'll type it for you down here if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. You can find me on my podcast, which is on iTunes and Stitcher, called The Creative Soul Lab.
Ooh, podcast, The Creative Soul Lab.
Yep. And you can find me on my website, which is my name, Shari D. Teigman. Laura's sneaking from her meeting. She's such a rebel.
Where am I? T-E-I-G.
Yeah, T-E-I. ShariTeigman.com.
It's D though, right? Shari D. Teigman?
On the website, it's just Shari Teigman, not D. But everywhere else, it's D.
.com.
Yep. On Facebook, my Facebook page, fan page is about to go up. I'm in lots of the groups. I'm very reachable. Shoot me an email. And I say this to everyone. I don't only speak to people who are ready to take out a credit card and invest. I truly believe in everybody's growth and soul being sparked. So if you feel stuck and you feel crappy, please shoot me a message on Facebook, reach me on the podcast. All my information's there. Find me on my website. I will hop on the phone with anybody and walk them through the starter, that trigger start. No pitch, nothing. I truly believe in helping as many people as possible. And it's not about invest. It's nothing to do with that. That's not how both Jennifer and I run our businesses because the more fueled we are in what we do, the better it is for all of us. We all rise together.
Raising the vibration. Exactly. It has been an absolute honor to have you. This is one of the best talks we've had. I just absolutely adore you and your philosophy and what you bring. And I mean, the solopreneurs out there who are not in alignment with their truth and trying to operate a business from a place of out of alignment. You need to hit up Shari. She will help you get your biz in alignment. She will help you get your message intact and your soul ignited and shining through. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone who's watching, keep following us. I got a weekly blab, and you can find me at the Creation Corner over at Facebook or jenniferscottcoaching.com. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye.